Laundry detergents, where would we be without them? I suppose would be wearing dirty clothes. But would the environment be cleaner if we didn't use them? Well, therein lies an interesting story. And a new term that is being used these days to describe novel products which are supposed to be more environmentally friendly: bio-based. What does this mean? Well, the term bio comes from the Greek meaning life. So something that has the prefix bio means it comes from some living source. All right, let's discuss this for a minute here. First of all, the active ingredient in detergents, what is it? The most popular one is something called sodium lauryl sulfate, and I have a model of that here. Now, the active ingredients in detergents are long molecules, one end of which dissolves in oily material, the other end dissolves in water. So the surfactant, as it is called, literally pulls the dirt off of a surface because dirt tends to be oily. How do we make this thing? Well, let's dissect this molecule. One part of it, this part here, comes from coconut oil or palm kernel oil. It's called lauryl alcohol. So it does come from a natural source, but there's a lot of processing that is involved before the palm kernel oil gets converted into lauryl alcohol. The other part here, the water-based part, this two-carbon system, can come from petroleum, made from ethylene, but it can also come from ethanol. Now, ethanol can come from a plant source, of course. For example, corn. If we consider corn, it can be fermented. The glucose in corn can be converted into alcohol, into ethanol, and the ethanol can be converted into ethylene oxide, from which we can make this part of the molecule. So therefore, we can say that this sodium lauryl sulfate is actually bio-based because it comes from living sources. However, there are problems there. I already told you that the lauryl alcohol, there's a lot of processing that is involved. And although the ethylene oxide, which comes from ethanol, which comes from corn, sounds very bio, but you have to remember that growing corn is not exactly an environmentally friendly business. You need pesticides, you need fertilizers. These have to be trucked, they have to be produced. So there are a lot of energy requirements there. So it is not so clear that making the required ethylene oxide from ethanol is better for the environment than getting it from petroleum. There has to be a cradle to grave approach in order to really understand whether or not something that is bio-based is preferable. So we need to be able to separate bio-based from biobunk, and that is not a simple thing to do. And now you learn some fascinating chemistry about whether or not a product that is called bio-based is generally and necessarily more friendly to the environment.